The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7. Divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Check this out. I got to share this with y'all. Let's go. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit Northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan, seeking new homes. Watch this. Share this beam out. Their dominion and inhabitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even unto the present, which is right now, North, South, Central America, and Mexico, and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. So let's backtrack real quick. Check it out. So this history right here was brought back to us by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This is why they don't speak about Noble Drew Ali publicly too often. And if they do, they just bring his name up and then they just move on. The reason why you need to get this book right here is because this the type of history information that we got to reprogram ourselves with. We got to actually step into the light. This information is the light. Why is it the light? Because it's knowledge that was never taught to us. It was never given to us in school. It was never given to us nowhere. So it's each one teach one, age of Aquarius right now. So if you want the information, you got to go out there and get it. Go out there and get this right here. Look how thin the book is. Because people talk and talk and talk, but they don't never have no receipts. They just be talking. Now watch this. What does it say right here? It says the river Nile, the Mississippi River, that's the river Nile, in case you didn't know. So the river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. So when they talk about the golden trade of the Moors, all them trades was happening in the Moroccan Empire. Egypt is in the Americas. The Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Moabites, all those, the Egyptians, all those are what's known in contemporary times today as Moorish American. All right. Now look, it says, according to all true divine records of the human race, all true and divine records of the human race. All right. There's no black people. There's no white people. There's no brown people. There's no red and purple and green people. We talking about all true and divine records of the human race. There is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the holy land of Canaan. What your forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator, Allah himself. Why is this crucial? Hold up. Why is this information right here crucial? It's a gang of reasons why this information is crucial. And it's not taught to us deliberately, because they are the ones who have been using this information and hiding this information from the Moorish Americans. You might be like, well, I ain't never heard about Noble Drew Ali, and I heard that the Moors was traitors, and I heard that the Moors, see how they keep saying they heard. But if you ask them what research they did, they can't tell you shit. They ain't gonna be able to tell you nothing. They just gonna tell you what they heard. And that's known in law as hearsay. What you heard, if it ain't got no evidence, it ain't got no weight. You can't prove it. And I look at it like this, man. I hear these terms that people throw out like black excellence. They throw out these terms like Indian. They throw terms out like Pan-African and Hebrew Israelite, right? If we're looking at this thing from a mindset like we critically thinking, we thinking about our thinking. This right here, what I just read to y'all, this part up top, this part that's right here, what I just read to y'all, right here, it was 7 proclamations that was written by 7 mayors from 7 cities. 7 of them. It was one, what was it? Arkansas, it was one in Atlanta, Chicago, Washington. It was 7 of them, right? Now, the problem with so-called black people, our people think that holding on, it's like this. Like, our people been indoctrinated to think like they can't call themselves something else besides black. Like, if they call themselves something like a Negro or a black person, or they think like I seen this movie today. It was like a back in the day movie though, like a throwback, right? They think like through indoctrination, there's a difference between when you say that you are a black person versus a nigga. Like, they think it's a difference. When you say you a nigger or you say that you're a black person, you saying the same thing. There's no difference. Those 2 terms, they mean the same thing. Negro means black in Spanish. Negro. That's what black is in Spanish. This is why Prophet Noble Drew Ali told us, Moors, you need to study Spanish. You need to study a second language. Negro is black. Now, in that same Spanish language, when you say moreno or morena, that does not mean a black person. So if you ever around somebody that speaks Spanish and they call you a negro, that's disrespectful. It's disrespectful because you should know that you're not a negro. You're not a black person. You're not black like my sunglasses. You're not black. So your nationality, this is why nationality is the order of the day. Because nationality is going to bridge you back to get to the other side, or where you can't get to right now as a so-called black person, color person, Indian, Native American, Pan-African, Hebrew. You can't get to the other side. The other side is the promised land. This is why everybody come to the Americas and you see them operating. They got businesses. They getting that bread, right? They sustaining what their business is, and they adding on. They get bread. They start a business. They get the business going. They bring their family member from somewhere else, wherever they from. They bring their family member in. And next thing you know, you see a new person running the same business that the first person established. That's the formula. They just rinse and repeat. Because when you look at it like this, right? It's like fear then got people mind under control. So people who think right now that they can't identify with nothing else but black, you have a complex of fear, because all you've heard your whole life is if you're a black person. Like, somebody been telling you this your whole life. So all you know is to run with that narrative. And as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you just keep thinking that you're that, and your mind ain't open to no other information, you're going to remain a person that can be controlled easily. You can be manipulated because you're not a critical thinker. You're not open. And this is the part right here where it says this right here. Look, out of this book right here, Circle 7, right? It says this right here. It says right here. See this? It says the holy prophet. It says, wait, let me go back up here. It says love, true peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the holy prophet and the grand temple. He says, I, the prophet, Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God, Allah, to warn all Asiatics. You're not a black person. You're Asiatic. You're not an Indian. You're Asiatic. You're not a Pan-African. You're an Asiatic. All right. You're not a Native American. You're an Asiatic. See that? All Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways. Don't that sound like what Yahushua was talking about? So-called Jesus. One he out here in the streets. One he in the trenches. He was going in the trenches to get the people to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day, which is sure to come. Now check it out. This way it get like, all right, I need to look at and study some different shit. Where it's right here. It says, the time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience. Let me say that again. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. So every nation has suffered slavery. Every nation, every people on the planet has suffered slavery. Everybody. But let's go further. Why did they suffer? Because they was filled with sin. They wanted disobedience. They wanted to say what they wanted to say. They didn't care about accountability. They didn't care about responsibility. They didn't care about holding themselves on some, I'm holding myself up with principles. No, sir. They didn't care about that. So what happened? That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774. And the word Negro, black and colored, was given to the Asiatics of America. What? See, this is why all of the prophets, they got a common thing. Look, all of the prophets, they got a common thing. Their theme is to be in the world, but not of the world. That's the demonstration. You want to be in this world, but you don't want to be of this world. You don't want to be doing all the sadistic shit that's going on in the world. You feel me? You don't want to be of that. You could be in the world doing what you're doing, but you ain't got to be a part of that other shit. That's what Yahushua was talking about. Buddha, Confucius, Noble Drew Ali. This is what they all share the same message. And this is why they were executed. Because you had people who didn't want the common people, the common people, to realize that these people over here, they all out for money, power, and control, and they will sacrifice the entire world to keep that power and control. This is why they were all executed. But they can't execute us all if your mentality and your spirit is linked up with the light. You can't they can't execute everybody, but you can't be afraid though. And a lot of people, unfortunately, they are afraid. They talk that tough shit, but they leaning on what they believe in. And what you believe in is not the truth. It's just a belief. It don't matter how much conviction you believe in some shit. If it ain't truth, it ain't got foundation, it ain't got evidence, you just talking. You just got hearsay. So check it out. Look. When you say this, Islam. So when you say this right here, it says the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, what? Because they honored not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. And this is what's happening with people today. People today are searching for peace. They searching for love. They searching for everything that they think in their mind is going to give them comfort. But like the Prophet Noble Drew Ali was talking, when he was talking, it won't be no peace. You're not going to find peace. You're not going to, fam, you're not going to find no peace. Look, let's go right here. Look, he say this right here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Out of the book, The Circle 7. Everybody out here searching for real love. You searching for freedom. You searching for peace. You searching for justice. Let's see what the Prophet Noble Drew Ali wrote over 100 years ago. He say this right here. He say, all nations of the earth in these modern days. Hold up. Let me go back to that. He say, all nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking, hold on, let me take this charge off. He say, are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days. And it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. So there ain't gonna be no peace. Ain't gonna be no peace. Ain't gonna be no freedom. Ain't gonna be no justice. Because people continue to be disobedient, stubborn, non-accountable. They don't want to have responsibility to say, I was wrong. Or I didn't know. It's like them two phrases right there is real hard for people to say and really mean. Like to get somebody to admit that they didn't know, or get somebody to admit on some they're accountable, like on some I didn't know that. Cause you know a lot of people walk around like know-it-alls and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's ego. That ego be tweaking. And then you get them talking, and all they think about is they the main character in the whole on the whole planet. They think everything about them is everything that it really is. And that's cap. It's false. But people really walk around thinking that they the main character in the movie, in the world though. You are the main character in your reality. But in reality, nobody is the main character in reality. But you are the author of your own book though, your own destiny for sure. But it's the ego. And it's like this, right? The fear. When you get somebody to be like, all right, look, if we looking at economics, so-called black people have the lowest economic, what you would say, like income in the crib. In the home economics, so-called black people, African Americans, they have the lowest numbers. The other nationalities, like nationalities though, you could look at the Mexicans. You could look at the Asians. You could look at the Hindus. Their economics is higher because they stick to family. They stick to, look, the man and the woman, even though they might go through tough times, we know that. But they don't just be so quick to be like, fuck it, I'm finna get a divorce. They not so quick to do that. They more so quick to be like, all right, we gotta work this out. We might be arguing, we gotta work this shit out though. That's nationality though. Nationality is unity. Nationality is structure. Nationality is identity. Let me show y'all this. Look at this right here. Let's see what this say. I had scribed this down today. Check this out, y'all. Peace and love to all the Moors out there, all the Asiatics. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. You know the rack up in here, south side, wild hundreds. East side crazy, out west, up north. You know what I'm saying? Let me know where y'all at. It say, what happens if you do not have a nationality? What happens when you don't got a nationality? Baltimore Islam. It says, it means that you have no home and no place you belong. Milwaukee Islam, VA Islam. Let me know where y'all at, man. Let me know where y'all from out there. Cali Islam. So as you see, nationality is so important. Detroit 313, what up, though? Khalifa Society, Islam, or Savannah, Georgia, Islam. Detroit, okay. This is what happens if you don't have a nationality. Dallas, Islam. It means you don't belong. You don't have a home. You have no place that you belong. And why Islam? It says no country will look after you. You cannot vote in any country. And no foreign embassy will extend its help to protect your rights. South Memphis, Islam. So you see that? See, they're not going to teach us this in school. Throw that. You could pack that up. That ain't going to happen. You ain't going to learn about this in school. That's why when you recognize people that's out here putting that light out, them the ones that need to get more, you know what I'm saying, likes and views and shares and whatnot. Netherlands, Islam. Indiana, Islam. Look, when you talk about, let's say, when you talk about somebody belonging to something, I see, don't y'all recognize, like, look, it's finna warm up outside, right? It's finna heat up outside. Summertime finna be here. And real shit, when you go to like a Caribbean fest, look at it like this. When we go to a Caribbean fest, right? You see all our people there. Same, different complexions. You can relate to them, right? Because we all got different complexions, but you know what time it is because it's cracking out there. You hear the drums, you hear the music, you see the food. You know what I'm saying? You see the women out there. You like, oh, this shit busting, right? You go out there, and then like say in Iraq, right? We got some called the Bordy Kin Fest on the north side though. Shout out to the north side. You got the Bordy Kin Fest. Right? Tainos and whatnot, Puerto Ricans. We go up there, I'm from the hundreds. So we go to the north side. It ain't none but Puerto Ricans up there. But Chicago's so segregated, we don't really get a chance to see all the different, you know what I'm saying, complexions of Puerto Ricans. So I remember a time where I had went up there years ago. I had went up there before I even got into more science. We just went up there to kick it and shit. I seen some of the darkest Puerto Ricans in my life. They ain't speak nothing but straight Spanish though. I'm tweaking like, remember this is years ago. So I see them and they, you know, they got all kind of vendors and shit. That's outside selling like t-shirts and a gang of shit, food, all that shit. Northside Chicago shit, right? Humboldt Park. So I go up to the vendor. They look like me and you. But whole time I'm seeing them and I'm thinking they gonna be speaking English. No, sir. I try to get some. I think I tried to get like a t-shirt or something. Somebody had like some t-shirts and shit. They was raw as hell though. But I'm talking to the person, this chick, I'm talking to her. She didn't even really speak English like that. So she had to get her homegirl to translate what I was talking about to her to sell the merch. But that just goes to show you like, if we be so segregated and we just be conditioned and indoctrinated to think like, I'm gonna bear him out. We be so indoctrinated to think like, when you see like Puerto Ricans or you see Dominicans or you see Haitians and whatnot, etc., we look at them in a certain type way, but real life, we are every type of complexion. Every complexion is us. That's the indoctrination though. So we'll think like, nah, so-called Puerto Ricans, they gotta look like this. Haitians gotta look like that. Trinidadians, they gotta look like that. Bayesians, they gotta look like that, etc., etc. Or people from Venezuela, Honduras, Bolivia, all that, right? But guess what though? Everybody that I'm naming, it goes right back to this right here. Everybody that I just named goes back to this right here. The circle 7. I'm going to show you how it goes back. So when you go to like a Haitian fest, a Dominican fest, and you seeing people that look just like you, but they speak straight Spanish, right? Look, this is why. Because we talking about the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites. We talking about everybody that's sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes, right? So their dominions, their inhabitation extends from northeast and southwest Africa, across the great Atlantis, even unto the present, which is right now. On God, they want to separate us. Until the present, see? North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis Islands, before the great earthquake, which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. So this would it be though. Like you ever, like if you travel, nice Islam, or if you somebody got like a passport, or you take like group trips and all this and whatnot. Once you leave the Americas and you go like, let's say you go to like Germany, or you go to Russia, or let's say you go out there to London or something. They don't call you an Indian out there. This is the wild shit. Peace, fam. You already know more. If we travel and we go to like the places that I just named, you go to London, they don't call you an Indian out there. They don't call you a Native American out there. They don't call you a Pan-African out there. I'm talking about off-site. Just off-site. You ain't even talk yet. When they see you, they gonna call you an American. Yeah. They gonna call you an American. It ain't gonna be but until you say that you a so-called black person, that they gonna call you a black person. But off-site, they gonna call you an American. That's what they address you as. Until you open your mouth up and you identify as a so-called black person or color person or Indian, they not gonna call you nothing else but an American. If you Google Tupac, Biggie, Prince, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, Nia Long, anybody like that, anybody that's a so-called artist or musician or whatever, celebrity, whatever. If you look at their name, right under that, it's going to say American. Yeah. It's not going to say black person. It's not going to say Indian. It ain't going to say what tribe you is or none of that. They going to show their face. Like if you look up Tupac right now, right? If you look Pac up and you look at his name, right under his name, it's going to say American rap artist or something like that. Because we are the true Americans. Nobody else can make this claim. See, this is the wild shit. Fam, this is the wild shit. And just like that, it's so right in front of our face. We not taught to look right in front of our face. And you know, it's so easy. What do these people be saying that like do like magic and all this type of shit? What they do, they hide it in plain sight. So it's literally right in front of our face. But that's sometimes the best place that you could hide something from somebody is you put it right in their face. They don't, it's right in their face and they can't recognize it. That's sometimes the best place to hide something from somebody. Or you hide some shit in the book. You know what I'm saying? People ain't really trying to read a book, right? But it's right there. Just Google your favorite artist. Google your favorite celebrity. It's going to say American right there. Now, why is that crucial? Because it's right here. Look. Because this right here. Look. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all of the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. So when they talk about Egypt, Egypt is over here. Let me ask y'all something. Let me just throw this at y'all real quick. Just to throw this at y'all. You ever wondered why you can't go in the Grand Canyon like that? You ever wondered why you can't just be like, all right, I'm finna fly a drone in the Grand Canyon. They gonna shoot the fuck out that drone. You can't just fly no drone in the Grand Canyon. You ever wondered that? Why can't people just walk down in the Grand Canyon wherever they want to walk? No, they got to get a tour guide. If you don't got a tour guide, you can't walk in certain places. Why is that? What they got down there? What they really got down there where we can't just walk down there on some, hey, I'm just finna slide to the Grand Canyon. I'm finna walk down there. No, sir. What? Psst. Next thing you gonna have military security escorting your ass up out of there. You can't just walk down there. Do you know? Just like in Washington, D.C., they got an obelisk in the Grand Canyon. They got obelisk in the Grand Canyon. Google obelisk in the Grand Canyon. That's Moorish architecture. Just like when you look at D.C., right? Washington, D.C., that obelisk that's out there where the Capitol building is at, across the water, where MLK did that speech at, that obelisk that's right there. I've been to that shit before. That shit is huge, fam. And somebody built that. Guess who them somebodies is? Them obelisks ain't get built by no Indians. They ain't get built by no Native Americans. Them obelisks, fam, that's Moorish architecture. They'll try to finesse us and be like, the aliens built that. Get the, what? No, sir. Moors built that. That's Moorish architecture. The obelisk, the arches, the Capitol buildings, all that's our shit. See how it's hidden in plain sight? It's either right there in front of our face, but they try to change it, rearrange it, put another name on it, and have us tweaking like, nah, we didn't build that. Aliens built that. They say aliens built it. Nah. Nah. All that's Moorish, fam. And then you would say this right here. Well, with all this information that's out here, why don't people just say that they Moors today? Why don't they just say they Moors today? Why they keep sticking with jumping around different identities? Why they can't just pick an identity? That is the problem and the solution. Think about it. If you keep flip-flopping your name, nobody knows first of all, if you got multiple identities and none of you in your mind, you think I could just flip-flop identities whenever I feel like it. Today I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Tomorrow, I'm a Native American. I'm a Pan-African Wednesday. I'm an Indian on Friday. I'm a black person on Saturday type shit. And you like, all other nationalities around the world are looking at that like, why can't these people just decide to be one name? Why can't they just decide on saying, all right, they're one name, and their one name will connect them to the land, which is Moorish American. That's our name. Our name collectively in North Central South America and all of the adjoining islands is Moorish American. That's the connection. That's the promised land. That's how you get to the other side. That's how you avoid the booby traps, the color of law. You got to avoid the color of law by not playing the color of law crackerjack games. See, our people don't realize when they misidentify as a colored person, a black person, a Hebrew Israelite, a Native American, an Indian, a Pan-African, they don't realize because they never been taught. And as a man thinketh, so is he. As a woman thinketh, so is she. So if all you know in your head is what you know, that's what you gonna go with. You not realizing you playing a crackerjack box game that you always gonna lose in. It's like going to a carnival and the motherfucking game that you think you gonna win, they didn't got the game rigged up where you ain't never gonna win. It's like going to one of them carnivals and you going there thinking you finna hoop, you finna shoot the ball, and the rim, they got the rim bent. The rim is bent, but in the front, you can't see it. So you going to the carnival, you going to one of them, you know what I'm saying, little sport venues, you going there like, shit, I'm finna go in here and I'm finna knock these down, right? You think that. Until you get the ball, dude give you the ball, he knowing that the game is rigged already. But he ain't finna tell you because you done paid him to play the game. It's like a carnival. Think of it like a carnival. You done gave him your money to play a game that they know is already rigged. You don't know that though, because you thinking like, shit, I got a chance to hit this shot. Shit, this ain't shit. Give me the ball, man. How much for it? $5? $10? Give me 3 shots. Give me the ball. Dude give you the ball. He already know the game rigged. He know that the rim is bent. You ain't gonna be able to hit the rim is off. You ain't finna hit that shot. They give you the ball, here your ass go. Boing, first shot. Second shot. Boing. You like, damn. I know I can shoot. Shit, I'm a hooper. Third shot. Last shot. Shoot that shit. Boing. You like, Next thing you know, you down 10. Then your ego kick in. You like, shit, you might have your girl there. Now you all embarrassed and shit. You like, I can't go out like that. And what you do? You throw another 10 on him. And he's smiling. He's really laughing in his head because you playing a rigged game that you think your ass gonna win in. You ain't gonna hit no jumper over here, boy. What? The rim bent. They ain't gonna tell you, though. They ain't gonna tell me. Because they work for the carnival. That's the U.S. corporation. Fam, the U.S. corporation is rigged. So-called black people, when they go, let me link it up for you. So just like I told you about the carnival, the 3 shots, and you missed all 3 of them. When you identify as a color person, a Negro, a Native American, an Indian, a Pan-African, when you identify as those things, as those terms, that's no different than you saying, I want to get 3 shots in the carnival. Except in the U.S. corporation, they have something known as the black codes. This is where law and history tie together. All right. This is called the black codes. The black codes are for so-called people who choose to identify and play the game that's rigged. The rigged game is the black code, the color code game, color of law. When you play that game, when you agree to be a black person, you're playing a game that's rigged for you to lose. And the U.S. corporation has been winning all the time, playing this, getting our people, convincing them you could win playing, you could win with black excellence. Yeah. It ain't black power no more. It's black excellence. You can win in this game. Come on down. Yeah, come on. You can be a millionaire. You can play the game. Come on down. See? And then you get the so-called black bourgeoisie. You get them to promote it, endorse it, just like they did with the pandemic, to stick the stuff in your... Yeah, right. Next contestant, step right up. Next contestant, you can do it. You can be the next millionaire. You can make the shot. That's how they finesse it. They get our own people to sell out and take the bag. And once they take the bag, they take a blood oath with the U.S. corporation and the vampires and the dark force. So when they do that, they can't open their mouth up and tell us. You see what's going on? But the trick is they look like us. So we looking at them like, my own people wouldn't do that to me. Yeah, they would. Y'all my people. Because you know how our people be. With this, you wouldn't do that to me type shit. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, they'll look at it like, you wouldn't lie to me like that, would you? I don't believe that. That's what people say. I don't believe you would get down on me like that, Joe. Yeah. They've been paid off to get down on your ass like that. This is why Noble Drew Ali said what he said, which is right here. This right here. He say, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. This is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent. Bing fucking bong. Moorish descent. Do you know? I'm sure y'all know because y'all on this beam out right now. I appreciate all y'all that tune in worldwide. I'm sure y'all know that our people over here in the Americas, do you realize we're the only people who have an inheritance that, first off, we have not claimed yet. That's number one. An inheritance. Number one, right? Number one. Number two is the reason why we have not claimed that inheritance is we are being indoctrinated daily to misidentify as terms that we're not. Negro, black, colored, Indian, Native American, Pan-African, African American. You feel me? Islam, or that's number two. Number three is this right here. We are the only people who cannot, listen to me. We are the only people who cannot be deported from the Americas. Yeah. Wow. We are the only, let that just marinate on you. Let that just marinate. Let it marinate. We are the only people who don't need a green card. We cannot be deported from this land. Fam. We don't need a visa in this land. I want y'all to recognize the gravity of what I'm talking about and the facts of what I'm talking about and sharing with y'all. Just recognize the gravity of that. Moorish Americans are the only people who cannot be deported from the Americas. Everybody else that come over here to the Americas, whether they Chinese, whether they Hindustani, Pakistan, Palestinian, whatever they are, African, they can be kicked out of here. They can be deported back to their own land. So where you think our land is? Bing bong. Yo! What does that tell you? What does that tell you, Morris? Exactly. Reach one, teach one. Each one, teach one. What does that tell you? We're the only ones who can't get kicked off this land. So that put a whole little chokehold on the out of Africa theory, don't it? That put a chokehold on that whole shit. Put a chokehold on the shit. Out of Africa? How? What you mean out of Africa? What? What you mean out of Africa? How we from Africa and we don't need, hold up. This it right here. We the only people that can't get kicked out of this land. So why would we think why would we keep thinking that we from Africa if we can't get kicked out of America? Maybe because the word Africa is modern and contemporary. The word Amexem means the great melting pot. Amexem, the prefix of Amexem, am, and the suffix of Africa is rica. Combine Amexem and Africa together, you get the word America. Yo. What? If you combine, fam, I know, G. Yo. This shit crazy, right? If you combine the word Amexem, which is an older name of America, Amexem, Al-Marak, Al-Maghrib, Al-Aska, Mu, which means mother's unity. Like when you say these names, or Al-Morocco, all these names are related. This is why America really doesn't have like one name. America has many names. We ain't gonna get taught this in school, because once we start learning this, see, it's gonna start being like electrical, like lightning strikes inside of you, and it's not gonna stay within you. You gonna be so electrified with this information, and when you start doing the research, you gonna share this energy with somebody else. The energy ain't gonna just stay with you. It's gonna go from you to another more. They gonna get electrified. They gonna share it with another more, and another more, and another more, etc., etc., etc. You see, it's a process. Energy never dies. It just transfer, right? So once you get electrified with the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Moorish science, which is the science of the universe, the functions of the universe, once you get electrified, you ain't gonna have no other choice but to share that energy, because you're not gonna want to hold it for yourself. You're gonna want to be like, I'm not obligated to just keep this energy to myself. You gonna want to share the shit. That's how strong this shit, because it's natural, it's organic, and you don't have to force this information on nobody, it's just going to start making sense. Because you're going to see how the worlds and the different nations start moving. And everybody else, I don't know if y'all been watching, you've been keeping up with the news. Everybody is starting to nationalize. They're nationalizing their land. They nationalizing their merch, they ships. They, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's starting to nationalize. Fam that's out there in I forget fam out there. But he out there nationalizing. That's why he kicked the French out. What is it, Burkina Faso? That Moor that's out there, he's nationalizing. Venezuela, they nationalized. Everybody's starting to nationalize because they know what's coming. That's really right. Burkina Faso, Islam. You said they nationalized their gold reserves. Islam. So you see what's happening. Everybody's starting to nationalize because they know that nationality is the order of the day. But let me share this with you. Big up to Haiti. Big up Burkina Faso. Look. Let me just share this with y'all real quick. This is something I just wrote down. It says, what does nationality do? What does nationality give us? All right. What does nationality give us? Nationality gives us a sense of unity and social cohesion and collective action. This is some of the benefits of having a nationality. It's not something that you just got and can't do nothing with. Because a lot of these people that be pushing Pan-Africanism and Indian and Native American and all these other terms, they tell you that, but they can't push nothing with it. They don't have a sense of unity, social cohesion, and collective action. Let me show y'all what race is. Race, when they try to bait people in this race thing, right? This whole race argument it's a social construct used to categorize people. Race is a modern term. The whole thing about race is a distraction. It's not anything that's put together. Race is not a subject that we even need to be arguing about with nobody. Because as you see in the circle 7 right here, what does it say? What does it show us? Divinely prepared by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. What does it show us? It says that right here. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family. Because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. So what does that mean? That means everything started with Moorish people. Everything. Even the creation of the pale-skinned Paleolithic Anthropopithecus, so-called white man. They not white though. Never call them white though. Never call these pale-skinned people white. They got nationalities. They're hybrid Irish, hybrid German, hybrid Scandinavian, hybrid Swedish, hybrid British. They're hybrids. They're not original. We are the original man. They are what you would say the modern hybrid man and woman. We are the original man and woman, the original Moorish Asiatic man and woman. That's us. Copper complexion, dark complexion, olive complexion, all right? Tawny complexion, swarthy complexion, Moors. We are the creators of this, all right? The Paleolithic pale-skinned people, they were created by the Moorish people through animalistic experimentation. That's where they come from. But see, that's That goes into why German hybrid scientists, like we talking about race right now. You know what I'm saying? You said, can you define what you mean by hybrid? Okay. A hybrid is something like, anybody out there, you smoke? If you smoke, you got OG, you got an OG strain, and you got a hybrid strain. The OG strain is always going to be the strongest strain. The hybrid strain is the recessive gene. Moors are the OGs. Hybrids are the recessive genes. This is why we have dominant genes. We can go out in the sunlight. We not going to get cooked if we go outside in the sun because we non-ether beings. We can go out in the sun and be out there all day. We ain't going to get cooked. We ain't going to get fried. You're going to go outside. You're going to absorb all that sunshine. You're going to be illuminating. You're going to be lit. Why is that? We've been doing that since we was babies. You go outside to the water, go outside in the hood, and you stay out there all day. You see that? And this is why we got to speak about so-called race. Race has nothing to do with us arguing about race. It's only one race. It's the human race. The human race was created by Allah, and we are what you would say made in the image and the likeness of Allah. Us. Yaqub, he wanted to create another race of people. This is where you get the story of Yaqub from. So Yaqub, being egotistical, he wanted to create somebody superior to his own people. So Yaqub was like, nah, I wanna have something better. So Yaqub was like, all right, look, he got sanctioned off to create this other so-called race, which is the hybrid pale-skinned European. So he was granted time and land to go over there in what's known as Patagonia. So in Patagonia, he went over there and started to create, through scientific animalistic experimentation, gene splicing. He created the pale-skinned man and woman, Yaqub, along with 12 Moabite women. They created that with gene splicing. They did gene mutations. So gene splicing, none of that is new. They've been this is Tartarian technology, Moorish technology. We're the ones who created gene splicing. We're the ones who created flying saucers. We're the ones who created gene mutations and whatnot. Moors did that. So through the gene splicing, they used what's known as a Negro Yavera Arebo. That's the black chimpanzee. The black chimpanzee is what's known in hybrid Europeans as the Rh positive gene. This is why pale-skinned Europeans, they're not the same as us, because it's nothing new under the sun. So Yaqub, in his arrogance and ego, when he created what's known as the Great Bouquet, he created something that he didn't have full control over. So this is where you have them having a different nature than Moorish people. Moorish people, we honor nature. We don't just go and go kill lions, and we don't just go big game hunting and just start killing shit, killing antelopes and deers and elks and shit, moose. We don't do that. That's not our nature. Their nature is a different nature because that's how they were created. They're Rh positive genes. They have the recessive monkey gene. We don't have that. We are Rh negative. All right. So when they say the human race, there is the human race. But keep in mind, we're the real humans though. The pale-skinned Europeans, they are mankind. Man, we are man and woman, original. They are mankind. They're kind of a man. You understand? All right? So that's race. And when you're speaking about race, you can't leave out the modern day Paleolithic European known as, what's the dude name, man? The German scientist. What is this dude name? What is this guy's name? Blumenbach. Johann Blumenbach. That's his name. Him and another dude, they created the race category because they divided people up into categories of Malaysian, Negroid, white, Caucasian. They're the ones who are responsible, and red people. They're the ones, Johann Blumenbach and his other scientists, they're hyper-Europeans. They created the category of races. All right? There's only one race, though, that comes from the Asiatic Moors. Everything else comes from out of us or was created. That's how it goes. The Japanese, the Chinese, all of the Hindus, everybody comes from the original Moor. They don't want our people to get into this information, though. They want our people to stay in black and colored. What up, Zal? Black and colored and Native American, because in those type of mind control channels, you're not going to open yourself up to real history. Moorish Tartarian history, Lemurian history. The Lemurians, fam, and the Atlanteans, those are older. That's the First Nations. The Moorish nation is after that. So even when you say you a Moorish American, you have an older history than just being Moorish. You have an Atlantean history. You have a Lemurian history. So it's this right here is just information that you need to do research on. Somebody asks, you said, what's the difference between Islam and our self-law and master? Okay. Islam has two sides. You have the side of faith as far as Islam, the faith. All right. The Quran, the faith of the Quran. But don't forget, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is our prophet in modern times. So when you say Islam, the science, all right? So you got Islam, the faith, and you got Islam, the science, all right? Islam, the science, is I self-law and master, or I self-law adept master, I self-law alchemy master. All right, we could keep going with that, but I'm just going to keep it basic. So you got two sides to Islam. Islam, the faith, or Islam, the science. But then you have Islamism. Islamism is the old world religion. That's our religion. That's the world's first religion, Islamism. That's us. That's Moorish. You feel me? So this is one of the Moorish questions, or the questions for Moorish Americans, that Noble Drew Ali wrote the question and the answer down. If you look up the 101s written by Noble Drew Ali for questions for Moorish Americans, you will see that Islamism is the world's first religion, and that's our religion. All right? Not Christianity. Christianity is not us. So-called Jesus, he was not a Christian. No, sir. And you can find that right over here in the same book. You can find that right here, G. Look. You can do the knowledge of this on your own, though. Do the knowledge of this on your own. Right here, where it says the beginning of Christianity. See that? I'm going to just show you this part real quick. It say Jesus himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Bing bong. Bing fucking bong. So-called Jesus, Yahushua, he was not a Christian. He was of Moabite, ancient Canaanite and Moabite blood. This is why the church, the so-called preachers and reverends, they don't bring up the book of Ruth. Ruth the Moabitess was Jesus' great-great-grandmother. This is why the pastors, they always seem to catch amnesia and they never bring up Ruth the Moabitess. That's a book in the Bible. They don't ever preach out of that book. Why not? Why they don't preach out the book of Ruth? Because that's gonna start exposing shit, blowing up shit. See how it's right in front of our face, but it's like hidden in plain sight. If you know what to look at, you gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna figure it out once you know what to look at. The book of Ruth the Moabitess, right there in the Bible, but your pastor ain't gonna tell you that. Reverend James, Deaconess Johnson, she ain't gonna tell you that. Shit, what? She ain't gonna tell you that. She gonna tell you, keep hope alive. On some Jesse Jackson type shit. Keep hope alive. Put some money in the collection plate. Yeah, we got a leak up in the roof. We need to get that roof fixed. We need some donations. Hey, close the doors. Close the doors up. We need donations in here. We need to raise about 40,000 type shit. You feel me? That's what they on. For real. Islam, or they on that type time. Now close the doors up. We need donations in here. Close them doors up. Y'all can't leave. We need to close the doors. Everybody give $100. Everybody give $100. Straight up. You say the Wichita that dug the Mount Moors, the Wichita that dug the Mount Moors was recognized by the UN as the oldest indigenous civilization on the planet. They was recognized by the United Nations. So if you just slow that down and think about just that receipt right there alone, the oldest people recognized by the United Nations are the Moors. What does that tell you? That blows away everything about Indians being the first people, Native Americans, whatever you want to call them, Hebrew Israelites, Pan-Africans, whatever you want to call them. That literally blows that theory out the water. It obliterates that entire theory. Moors are the oldest civilization on the planet. And don't forget, Moors are any dark-skinned person. So any dark-skinned, you know that they found this guy in South Carolina. They did blood work. Google it. They did some blood work on this guy, this Moor, so-called black man from South Carolina, right? They did blood work on him. His bloodline, his blood itself traced back over 300,000 years. Yo, what? His blood in his body. They did some tests on his blood. Fam, his blood was older than 300,000 years old, fam. His blood. South Carolina Islam. So if that's one man in South Carolina, big up to North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, all y'all down south. VA. 300,000 years old? So what else they not telling us then? If a Moor's blood recently was tested and found to be over 300,000 years old, how long you think we really been on the planet? Yo. 300,000? Hey, man. We've been lied to about everything. For sure. Australians are Moors. Any dark-skinned person is a Moor. Canaanite, Amorite, Hittite, Almoravid, Ottoman, the ancient Ottoman Empire, the ancient Turks. That's us. The Shin dynasty, the Zhang dynasty, that's us. Why you think they call samurais samurai? Slow the word down. Samurai. And in order to be a samurai, they said you have to have so-called black blood. Put it together. But Moor does not mean black. Keep that in mind. Moor don't mean black. It don't mean black. That's a booby trap. Because they'll be like, Moor means black. No, it don't. Moor is a proper noun. It's a noun. Black is an adjective. We talking about basic English grammar. The word Moor is a noun. That's why it's capitalized. It's a proper noun. Just like your name the first letter of your name is capitalized, right? So Moor can be capitalized. So that would be Moor is a proper noun, correct? We talking about basic English. Black, the first letter B, is not capitalized. So how could that be the same thing and synonymous with Moor? It can't be. Third grade etymology. Huh? See? This was going on. This is what's going on, man. So I hope y'all got something from this beam out. What time is it? Okay, it's about that time. I hope y'all got something from this beam out. It's always love building with y'all, throwing energy out, throwing electricity out there to y'all. You feel me? It's always love doing that. Because it's each one teach one. This ain't about Kush Day. This is about all us. You know what I'm saying? The more we start throwing this electricity out, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, this Islamism, the more we keep throwing this type vibe out, this frequency, this vibration, it can't help but to shatter the fuck shit. So the more you throwing out positive energy, frequency, and vibration, you destroying the fuck shit. The more that you stop saying that you're a black person, the more that you destroy that negative vibration, that negative energy, that negative frequency. You feel me? Once you start throwing that positive electricity out, that fuck shit can't even be around you because you charged, you lit, you up. So that fake shit can't even be around you. It can't stand being around you because you up. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. So if you got questions, hit me on the DM. I'm finna slide. Don't forget, June 20th, if you could get to the Chicago area, we gonna be out here in the rack, in Mecca. June 20th, pull up. If you could pull up, slide. You could meet me in person. You could meet other Moors in person. We ain't just gonna be talking over no phone. Nah, this is gonna be in person, live in the flesh. It's gonna be a beautiful event. You know what I'm saying? We already got the venue locked down. It's gonna be a super lit event. We're gonna have books out there. You're gonna have upright Moors that's gonna be out there. So if you can be in Chicago, June 20th, slide. I love to meet you in person. Pull up. It ain't nothing like building with upright Moors because it ain't no ego. You know what I'm saying? It's like really talking to yourself because Moors, we on the same energy, frequency, and vibration. See? We ain't no ego. I want to see you win. You want to see me win. And that's why when you say that you more, you say that you love. You say that you land. You feel me? You say that you're law. Islam. That's why it ain't no ego. Because we ain't moving like that. We talking about structure. That's how we moving. Shout out to Jamrock. I'm saying, shout out to Australia. Yeah. Exactly. We are one. We are one. And you will see that in the Circle 7. When Noble Drew Ali the Prophet, he break that down about Allah and man are one. Allah, man, woman, and child are one. One. You know what I'm saying? That's why we say peace more. When we saying peace more, what you saying? You saying that's more love. So if I call you love and you call me love, how can it ever be static? It ain't no room for no hate. Love instead of hate. All right? I'm going to holler at y'all more on the next one, though. All right? I self-law and master. Study, study, study. Don't just take what I'm saying right now and showing y'all out the Circle 7. Get the book. It only costs like a couple dollars. Get the book. Amazon Prime it to your crib. Read it yourself and start letting the words electrify your mind. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. Teach your children. Teach the babies, man. Somebody don't want to learn. Somebody don't want to listen. Cool. Leave them over there. Don't waste your energy, time, frequency, and vibration. Don't waste that on somebody who blockheaded and they don't want to listen to the real. They don't want to listen to the truth. They want to stay Negro, black, and colored. Fuck it. Leave them over there until when they ready, when they get tired of drowning, sinking, you know what I'm saying, in quicksand, they'll pull up. They'll ask you some questions. Till then, though, just stay on what you on. All right? Much love, Morris. Catch y'all on the next one, man. Islam.